You ever notice how you can be completely fine all day, and then the moment you lie down at night, your brain's like, all right, let's talk. Right when you're horizontal. All day, my brain is chill. At night, it turns into an unpaid therapist. I'll be half asleep. So, what if everything goes wrong? Day brain is useless but confident. Night brain is like, let's review everything. Night brain doesn't whisper either. It kicks the door open. Hey, remember that one thing? And it always starts innocent. It's never like, what if you win? It's like, what if you picked the wrong life? Wrong life? My brain treats bedtime like a courtroom, and the timing is disrespectful. At night, there's no noise, no scrolling, no pretending. So your brain finally gets the mic. This isn't insomnia, this is what if mode. And once it starts, there's no exit. Then night brain goes straight for your career. Like, what if you chose the wrong job? What if you wake up one day and hate everything you do? What if you missed your real calling? What if you were supposed to be doing something else and you somehow missed it? At night, your brain becomes a career counselor with 0 qualifications. Suddenly it's like, let's review your entire future. You start imagining jobs you don't even want. Jobs that don't match your personality at all. And your brain treats it like it's a serious possibility. Like this is information you needed at 2 a.m. Instead of, sleep. Night brain doesn't help you plan. It just drops panic and disappears. And you're left staring at the ceiling, questioning your entire career. All because your brain decided now was the time. Your brain starts comparing you to people you barely know. People you haven't talked to in years. But somehow know are doing better. Your brain presents their success like a fact, with no evidence. Just vibes and worst case assumptions. You imagine future you explaining your job to someone, and it sounds worse every time, even though it made sense during the day. Night brain deletes all context. It keeps the doubt and calls it realism, but it's not realism. It's exhaustion talking, wearing your voice, and pretending it knows the future, when it really doesn't. Then your brain switches topics, and suddenly it's money. What if you end up broke? Like actually broke. Not, I'll figure it out, broke. But something went very wrong, broke. Your brain starts inventing emergencies. Things that haven't happened, but feel very real at 3 a.m. Suddenly you're doing math you never do during the day. Fake math, stress math, the kind of math where nothing adds up. You remember subscriptions you forgot existed, charges you never agreed to. And your brain says you should have planned better at night when you can't do anything about it anyway. And suddenly it feels urgent. Like something is about to go wrong, even though nothing is happening right now. Your brain scrolls through worst case scenarios. Bills, rent, groceries, things that add up faster at night. Your brain starts counting money you don't have. Money that's already gone. Money you were supposed to save. According to a version of you that never existed. Someone who always planned ahead, never made mistakes, and somehow knew what life would cost. Your real self just feels tired. Tired of worrying. Tired of numbers. Tired of pretending you can solve this at night. Because you can't. And that makes it heavier. Until you remind yourself. This isn't a money problem. It's a midnight problem. Your brain doesn't care about timing. It just cares about fear. Fear of not having enough. Not enough money. Not enough time. Money becomes a symbol for everything. Safety. Stability. Options. Freedom. And when you don't feel secure, your brain grabs onto numbers. Because numbers feel solid. Even when they aren't. Especially at night. When everything feels bigger. Louder. Heavier. Even though nothing has changed. Your balance didn't drop. No bills appeared out of nowhere. Nothing is actually different. Except your thoughts. And how convincing they sound at night. Like they're telling the truth. When they're really just tired thoughts. Borrowing your voice. And pretending to be logic. When it's really just fear. Then your brain moves on to love. Or the lack of it. What if you end up alone? Like actually alone. Not I enjoy my own company alone. But why does no one choose me alone? Your brain starts replaying every conversation. Every message you sent. Every message you didn't send. You imagine saying the right thing? In the right tone. With the right timing. Your brain runs a simulation where everything works. And then immediately ruins it. What if you say something weird? What if you already did? What if that one moment changed everything? And you just didn't know it at the time? Love at night feels personal. Heavy. At night, love turns into questions. Questions with no answers. And no one to ask. Your brain replays moments that felt small. But somehow mattered a lot. A look. A pause. A message left unread. Or one never sent. Your brain fills in the silence. With assumptions. Usually the worst ones. You imagine how they see you. What they think. What they feel. Even though you don't really know. Love becomes a guessing game. And you're the only one playing. It feels personal. Because it is. You care. And caring makes everything louder at night. Your brain starts rewriting the story. Changing details. tone, timing, words. You imagine saying it better, smoother, more confident. Like that would have changed everything. Like that was the moment. The one that decided everything after. But love doesn't work like that. Not really. It's not one sentence, one moment, or one mistake. It's everything around it. The context, the timing of two lives intersecting briefly. And then moving on, your brain hates that part, the part you can't control. What you said, what you didn't say, what you meant to say. As if clarity could rewrite the past, but it can't. And that's what hurts. Not the memory, but the helplessness. Because helplessness has nowhere to go. There's nothing to fix. No message to send. No moment to redo. Just the space after. And that space feels uncomfortable. Because you're used to doing something, saying something, explaining yourself, hoping it lands differently. But at night, there's no audience. No reaction to read. No feedback. Just your interpretation. And your fears filling in the gaps. Love at night isn't about romance. It's about vulnerability, being seen, and wondering if you were, or if you imagined it. If it mattered. If you mattered. Those questions don't ask for answers. They ask for reassurance. And reassurance is hard to give yourself, especially in the dark. At some point, the questions slow down. Not because they're answered, but because your mind gets tired. Tired of guessing. Tired of replaying. Tired of imagining outcomes you can't control. Love drifts into the background. Still there, but quieter now. Less sharp, less personal. And that's when something shifts. Your focus moves outward, away from one person, one moment, one interaction, and it widens into something bigger. Your whole life, where love is just one piece. Important, but not everything. And that realization doesn't hurt. It softens. Because when love steps back, you see everything else. Time, choices, direction, and questions that aren't just about someone else, but about you and where you're going, which is when night brain changes again, and the thoughts shift. Then your brain zooms out, way out, and suddenly it's not about today anymore. It's about your whole life. What if you're behind? Behind who? Your brain never clarifies. It just tells you that you are, that everyone else is moving faster, more confidently, more correctly. And you missed some invisible deadline, one nobody told you about. Your brain starts showing you an alternate version of you, one that made all the right choices, wakes up early, has their life together. Meanwhile, you're staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're doing life wrong, when maybe there was never a right way. The thoughts don't stop. They just change shape. Career questions fade. Love questions quiet down. And what's left feels heavier, bigger, quieter, harder to explain. You start asking different questions, not about what you did, but about where you're going, what kind of life you're building, and whether you're doing it right, whatever right even means. Your brain brings up timelines, ages, milestones, things you think you should have done by now. It compares you to imaginary versions of people, and real people you barely know. Everyone seems ahead, except you, even though you know that's not true. Night makes it feel real, because there's nothing else to focus on. No noise, no distractions. Just you and the question of meaning. And the question feels heavy, like it's been waiting for you to slow down enough to finally notice it. Is this really what I want? The question sits there, not demanding an answer, just asking to be acknowledged. And that's uncomfortable, because answers change things. They force movement, decisions, risk, change. And night isn't a good time for that. Night doesn't want solutions. It wants honesty. It wants truth without pressure. And that truth isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, simple, unclear, and unfinished, which is scary, but also honest, because life isn't a finished sentence. It's something you're still writing, still figuring out, still becoming, and that realization lands slowly, not like an answer, more like permission. Permission to not know yet, to not have it mapped out, to be where you are without rushing forward or measuring yourself against a future version of you. Night lets you see that. When you stop fighting it, when you stop demanding clarity, and let the questions exist without answering them, life doesn't need to be solved tonight. It can wait. Tomorrow exists, even if you can't see it yet. And for now, being here is enough. Thinking, feeling, existing. That's where life actually happens. And at some point you realize something. None of this was helpful. Your brain wasn't solving anything. It was just panicking in HD and acting like it was doing you a favor. So you start talking back to it. Not out loud. Just enough to remind yourself that night thoughts aren't facts. They're just thoughts. And they sound scarier because it's quiet, not because they're true. And you don't actually need answers tonight. You need rest, even without clarity, especially without clarity. So you let the thoughts pass. You don't chase them. You don't fight them. You just let the night be the night. And slowly, sleep shows up. Not because everything is fixed, but because you stopped demanding answers from the dark. Nothing needs your attention right now. Not the past, not the future, just this moment. And that's enough.